So what is the optimal gear range? How low should you gear your bike? All this and more in this video. Welcome back, Pathless Peddlers, and if you're new to the channel, if you love to ride bikes but don't race, the supple life, you have found your people, hit that subscribe button. So in the last couple episodes of the Cave of Bad Ideas, we have been messing around with rear derailleurs to get really low gears. But it dawned on me that I didn't quite answer the question of why you would want such low gears and what an ideal gear range is. So disclaimer number one, like all things about bikes, ideal gear range can be highly personal depending on fitness, on how you intend to ride the bike, what you're gonna do with the bike. So I'm gonna share with you the gear range that works best for me, but yours may be completely different and that's okay. I'm not telling you that this is the only gear range you should run. So first off, let's talk about low gears. Why do I personally like such low gears? A lot of it has to do with how I came into cycling. I was never interested in cycling as a sport, but always used my bike as a tool. For a number of years, I had a bike-based business. I was a photographer, and I would haul literally hundreds of pounds of gear, up to 25 miles sometimes, to do photo shoots. And as you guys know, we also did a lot of touring, and in both those instances, lower gears trumps high gears any day. So reason number one you would want low gears is because you actually carry stuff. You use your bike as a tool, as a part of your business. Maybe you have a child and you have to carry them on the back. There's a whole world of cycling beyond just weekend recreational rides and racing where people actually need low gears. And reason number two is a reason that I don't think gets discussed enough, and that is differing ability. So it might be that you're just getting back into cycling or you've never been active before, and chances are if you hop on a stock road bike, it's gonna feel overgeared. It could also be maybe you have an injury or you have one leg or you have some other health issue, prevents you from exerting the same amount of force. It's not just because you're weak or some kind of wuss or something. You just have a different ability than is what is typically designed into stock bikes. Reason number three of why you would want low gears is you live in a place where there are hills or mountains. So we live here in Missoula, Montana, and it's down in the valley, but if you want to go anywhere, you are going up and over a hill of some sort. And since we ride mostly gravel roads and trails, those are not graded to the same nice, gentle standards as paved roads. So they tend to be steeper for longer, double-digit grades. We've got a ride out here that goes up to a lookout tower, and it's just 14 miles, straight uphill, usually 7 to 8%. Sometimes steeper, and it's unpaved, it can get loose, it can get bumpy. And in those instances, it's nice to sit and spin. And speaking of spinning, fourth reason why someone would want low gears, and it's okay, maybe they just prefer a higher cadence. That's definitely the case with me. Yes, I could stand and grunt up the hill very slowly, but I like the choice of distributing the work between the musculature and the cardiovascular system, which you can only do by having the option of lower gears. Remember, spinning is winning. So in terms of high gears, again, this is for me. What do I think is high enough? Well, for me, I like to actually defer to Eddie Merckx. That's right, that Eddie Merckx. Many decades ago, when he set the hour record, he said it was the hardest thing that he ever did, and he would never do it again, and indeed he didn't. And he set that hour record on a 5214, which translates to about 97 gear inches. Most high gears on the typical compact road double is about 120 gear inches. And for me, that is just aspirational gearing. I'll probably use those gears once or twice a year, whereas I'm using the lower gears more frequently. So for me, if 97 gear inches is good enough for Eddie Merckx to set the hour record, that's, I think, good enough for me. And I totally understand there are different circumstances, different types of road riding where you would want higher gears for that, but again, this is the supple life. We're not about racing here, we're just about riding. So I like my upper gear inches to be about mid-90s or even around 90. So that's the high gear. What about the low gear? And my thinking is go as low as you need to. Back when I had the bike-based photography business and we did all that touring, I actually ran a triple and the low gear inch was about 18 gear inches. So pretty low, and trust me, we did indeed use them. Back when we were doing four-painter touring, we had about 150 pounds of gear, not including rider weight and the bike. So when you're carrying that much load, yeah, go low as you can get. These days, we don't ride as heavy. If I were to spec out a bike and I was just gonna use it just for daily riding, unloaded, or the occasional gravel event, then I would aim for the low gear to be around the mid-20s to the low 20s. So let's say you spec'd out the bike with a 4630 and put an 11 to 32 cassette on it. That would give you a high gear inch of about 107 and a low gear inch of about 25. If you swap that rear cassette for 1136, you will get it down to 22 gear inches. As it stands right now, with the Crest Bambora and a 42 tooth chainring in the front and 11 to 50 in the back, that gives me a range of 102 in the high end. So plenty enough high gear for me and about 22 gear inches on the low end. So I actually think that's a pretty ideal spread. Lots of usable gears, no repeating gears, obviously with a 1x. So that's my ideal range. What's your ideal gear range? Leave those in the comments below. I'm curious to hear. And if you want to catch up on our hacks to get mountain bike low gearing with road shifters, be sure to check out the Cave of Bad Ideas playlist. Until next time, guys, keep the self side down.